Housekeeping? No, I clean.
Damn it! This music is very intimidating.
Housekeeping?
Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here as always with Shughead Gaming, and welcome to my review for 18 Floors, developed by Aoga Tech and released for PlayStation VR July 3rd for an estimated price of $18. Of course, that's depending on your region. Players are transported to a mystic and foreboding place where they must complete interconnected puzzles to escape each sealed room. I am horrible at puzzle games, but thanks to some help from some subscribers, I was able to complete this game and this review. How did it turn out? Well, follow along and we will find out together. As always, guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more PSVR reviews from me, please consider subscribing. As always, graphics are up first. 18 Floors is a decent looking PSVR game. The look the devs are going for here is definitely one of realism, albeit a dark and foreboding reality for sure. Each floor/level is basically its own self-contained escape room, and as such, levels are small and more easily able to be rendered sharply, and with fairly detailed texture work. Many objects can be picked up and played with in these sandbox-style escape rooms, all of which, along with many of the interactive puzzle elements, look good and hold up to scrutiny even up close. Special mention to the paintings in room 2 that even up close really looked like actual painted canvases. I ran into some camera clipping through textures, but for the most part everything felt reasonably polished. The game definitely goes for atmosphere here, and while it won't dazzle you with its use of lighting, there are still some nice touches and effects to help sell the experience and the overall feeling of being alone in these spaces. And that brings us to sound. While 18 Floors' graphical package did a nice job at creating a certain atmosphere to each floor, the sound portion, while not overly poor, it certainly doesn't really elevate the game either. The outstanding fault here lies in some of the more ambient sounds and pieces of music that come and go and are obviously designed to elevate the tension during the level. The problem lies not so much in the sounds themselves, but the volume levels. Each level seemed to have at least one go-to sound that when used would overpower the entire soundscape and make me want to reach for the volume control. Unfortunately, the levels tend to repeat these sounds in a regular fashion, and when you are staring at a puzzle for the 8th time, frustrated with life, the sound can become very grating. These sound level issues would pop up elsewhere from time to time, with items like the hammer sounding like it was being played through a megaphone when I would hit something. A few other audio glitches aside, the rest of the sound design is adequate and does what it needs to do to communicate when something you did actually did something, which is always a huge plus in a trial and error puzzle game such as this. Voice work is at a minimum, and if the opening tutorial is any indication, that's a good thing. Music is used sparingly and really only crops up when the level requires it. All in all, the sound package here isn't horrible, but it does come off as a bit budgety and could use some additional polish. And that brings us to gameplay. In its simplest form, 18 Floors is an escape room game. But it's an insane escape room game in which a given level is given a collection of puzzles that connect to other puzzles wrapped in puzzles, then baked into another puzzle. Simply put, this is the turducken of puzzle games. For those who enjoy puzzle games, you will find all sorts of variations from math-based puzzles and visual puzzles to memory-based puzzles, and of course the tried and true find this thing and put that thing in a place puzzle. My problem with 18 Floors is not so much that it's rich in puzzle designs, it's that the puzzles lack any narrative and seem to connect very randomly and really don't make any sense as to why they would work together or why they would exist in the first place. The levels just seem to lack any real sense of progression or sense of accomplishment, for as soon as I finished one, you were just left looking around for the next thing to bang your head against. Don't get me wrong, some of these puzzles are brilliantly made. They just don't seem to work well together, giving the whole experience a disjointed and, in this player's experience, a sense of level grind that I really didn't enjoy. The other fairly large issue I had with the game was with the camera and its tracking system. Upon startup, I found my head floor level. With no ability to recalibrate and none of the usual tricks working, I had to actually delete the game and reinstall it. From here, things got a bit better, but I still had to play the game as a 3-foot midget, which made working on some puzzle boxes feel like I was a kid trying to look into the cookie jar. Upon discussion with some fellow PSVR YouTubers, it seems the game is very finicky with camera placement, so just be aware that while this hasn't happened to all, results can vary. In addition to these issues, I also found tracking of the required 2 move controllers to be a bit spotty, and also suffered from some similar sluggish issues that I found in my recent playthrough of the Walker, in which tracking felt just the slightest bit of delay. Not a huge issue, but still worth mentioning. Another issue I ran into, along with the others I spoke of, is the dropping of key items, key puzzle items, only to have them disappear and show up somewhere randomly, or in some cases not at all. This actually completely sidelined my completion of level 2, so yeah, this can be game breaking. Finally, the issue to end all issues, let's talk game length and the giant lie that is 18 floors. 18 floors. Many would expect 18 levels, or 18 rooms if you will. Well, you would be right to assume that, and unfortunately, you'd be very, very wrong. 18 floors should aptly be titled 2 floors, as at launch this game only has 2 levels, with the remaining 16 to be released at some point. So in typical VR terms, that means never. So really, you're buying 2 levels with a total gameplay length of 90 minutes to 3 months, depending on your level of puzzle skill. Anyways, this game can be played sitting or standing with minimal space required. Movement is teleportation and click turning only, so motion sickness should be at a minimum. And that brings us to fun factor and my final verdict. Okay, so as most of you know, I'm not a huge puzzle guy. I lack neither the interest, patience, or in some cases, the intelligence to make these experiences fun. That being said, I do strongly believe in reviewing games based on what they are and who they are made for. 18 floors, or should I call it 2 floors, is a hard sell and is hard as hell. And while that may appeal to some, the nonsensical connections between puzzles and the game's many bugs when combined with the misrepresented and short length really does not lend itself to a recommendation. As you guys know, I rate games on a basis of buy, wait for a sale, or burn it to the ground. Guys, this is wait for a sale. This game needs some patches and needs some of its content added in. Until then, wait on this. There have been a lot of puzzle games as of late. And if you need a puzzler, look at Esper or Rooms the Unsolvable Puzzle instead. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. I'm Chris from Shughead Gaming. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more PSVR reviews from me, please consider subscribing. And for updates, hit that bell icon.